This game recap is brought to you by IBC Bank. IBC Bank, we do more. Sitterly Homes, Network Funding, and by Greg Sherman Videography. Call 419-902-3353 for all your video needs in San Antonio and the Hill Country. It's been a season of close calls and tight losses for the Reagan Rattlers. They're just 2-5 on the season, 1-3 overall in district play. They have to win their final 3 games and get help to make the knockout rounds. All that starts as they'll take on the Lee Volunteers. All 3 of their district losses by just 1 touchdown, meaning they're not that far away from actually being the district leaders right now in 27-6A. Madison and Johnson are both 4-0 in district play. Most likely the winner of their matchup week 11 will be the district champion, although Roosevelt, coming off the win over Reagan last week, still has a chance to win the district title. As for Reagan, they're in 6th place in the district, but they're actually not in bad shape. They have games remaining against Lee and Mack, who will both miss the playoffs. Then they close the regular season at South San. Big game this week with Churchill taking on South San. The Rattlers need to win out, as I mentioned, along with getting a little bit of help. They can do that if Churchill loses one of their final 3 games, or if Roosevelt loses to Johnson or Lee. That's because Roosevelt and Churchill meet the final week of the regular season. So the Rattlers not in desperation mode quite yet, but again, they're going to have to beat the Lee Volunteers, a team the Rattlers have not had much trouble with over the years. In fact, none of the matchups in this decade have been very close. Well, let's take you inside the stadium and check out all the highlights brought to you by IBC Bank, Network Funding, and Sitterly Homes. Head coach Lyndon Hamilton all ready to go, as was Lance Lorenz. The sophomore quarterback still looking for his first varsity win. The last time Reagan lost to Lee in football was the first time the school's ever played in 2000. Thankfully for the Rattlers, Y2K didn't strike. Tight end Michael Davidson missed a good chunk of the season because of injury, but played a lot against the Volunteers. Lorenz pass tipped at the line, but number 45 right there to make the catch for the first down.
I just saw an opportunity to make a play. I told Lance all week, throw me the ball and I'll catch it. You know, tight end's got to be that safety net for him, but I was just ready to make a play.
Later in the drive, Lorenz threw it up for Zane Raba. The baseball star also good at football, as he made the 32-yard catch with the lead defender completely out of position. 7-0 Rattlers.
I just saw Zane coming out of the cut, and I just knew he was going to go win that ball. They do a great job. They're really physical up front, and we just got to get the job done.
Reagan trailed in every game this year, but that streak ended as they would lead wire to wire in this one. Next Reagan drive ended in a Luke Hoggett punt. Nice backspin, and the Volunteer player couldn't field the ball. Early Halloween treat recovered by Reagan's Jacob Bullock, and the Rattlers were back in business. First play after the treat, Carson Green scooted left for the 21-yard touchdown as the freshman continued to have a great rookie season. 14-0 Rattlers after 1. Second quarter, more defense. William Seabolt threw the candy up for grabs, but it was Lamarck Patterson who went trick-or-treating and came down with the Goblin interception this time, 1 of 4 Lee turnovers.
I saw an opportunity for me to get the ball. I stayed in coverage, didn't leave my man. Saw the ball in the air and I just went for high-pointed it and did what I had to do.
First play after the turnover, Lorenz threw it up for another baseball star, Staten Ancrum, who showed more of his catching ability, coming down with the ball for a first down. It set up a Jonathan Conwell touchdown run, 21-0 Rattlers. 13 players had at least 1 rushing attempt, led by Green, who ran for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. This one put the Rattlers up 28-6 at recess. No, those aren't planes lining up to land at the airport, but rather Rattlers lining up to run the ball. Touching moment in the fourth quarter when Andrew Hamilton, Lyndon's son, got into the game. Number 48 has battled epilepsy, but made a couple key blocks in the fourth quarter and also had a couple of rushing attempts for 12 yards. Great to see him back out on the field. Rattlers made it 19 in a row over the Volunteers, who lost their 26th straight in district, 35-6 the final. By the way, the last Reagan quarterback to win a start not named Travis Staley was Cade Cogburn, who beat Laredo United in Week 2 back in September 2017. Hey, how about some happy Rattlers?
Felt great. We just got a really good group of guys, and we just came together. It's taught us a lot. It's taught us how to mature really quickly. We've just kind of been thrown into the fire, and we've just tried to adjust.
Our defense is doing great going into the season. You know, I think our defense was good at the beginning, and I think it's still good now. You know, we have tight games, and, you know, the defense has really kept us in the game. So, I mean, I have no doubts about our defense.
We just have the mentality, next man up. Doesn't matter who gets hurt. We always got backups. We always roll in our twos in practice just so we're ready for game time.
With 2 weeks remaining in the season, the Rattlers still need help to make the tournament. Reagan would actually be eliminated from playoff contention if they lose to Mac and Churchill beats Johnson Week 10. But if they win out and pick up one Churchill loss, the Rattlers will get back to the tournament for the 9th straight year. They could also get in even with a loss to Mac if they beat South San Week 11 and Churchill loses to both Johnson and Roosevelt. Reporting from San Antonio, I'm Greg Sherman.